Welcome back. Let's keep up with the analysis of the gold market. Sive here with the Forex Peace Army as usual. So guys, yesterday payrolls have been released finally. Made a lot of noise around, but nothing important. So yesterday a bit better, 25k above the expectation if we take into consideration the revision of the previous numbers. And currently gold market mostly stands in the same environment, same situation as in the euro. So in today's euro video I have explained in details why all dollar rivals in the nearest few weeks might remain under pressure, and it doesn't depend on valuation of the asset, whether it's euro currency or the gold. It's purely fiscal results of the fiscal policy, fiscal situation inside of the United States. So if you're tracking the Bitcoin performance, for example, you could see that it stands in total collapse. Yesterday in the video we also talked about some minor bullish reversal pattern. It also has failed. This is just tells that the problems on the stock market still exist. They are not disappeared. It means that the investors on the stock market still feel some lack of the liquidity. They need to fulfill margins, and that leads level of the margin stands on outstanding right now on the stocks. So that's at near the highest level ever. It's around 1 to 6, which is a really big level for the stock market. It's more typical for the futures. So the minimum changes in the dynamic of the stocks immediately demands for margin call and to fulfill the margins to initial levels. That makes investors to sell all other assets that they have, and Bitcoin stands here in the first place, but other assets also feels this holding factor, feels this pressure. Gold market is not an exception. And that explains why the market actually is moving lower, I suppose, in the current circumstances. And the tricky moment stands with the next Fed step, because currently, based on the information that we have, take a look, recent Fed payrolls not as bad, right? So market expects high level of the gross domestic product for the third quarter that should be released soon. Shutdown is over, so United States Treasury is starting spending their $1 trillion that they have accumulated on their account with the Fed. So very soon this liquidity should come on the market. Japan holds more or less dovish policy in agreement with Trump, so its new prime minister announced big stimulus. Rate hike has been postponed currently, so this creates the, well, more or less acceptable background for the Fed to not cut rate right in December. So from that standpoint of view, from the gold market, chances on some deeper retracement are rising. Besides, we have some bearish signs on lower time frame. So market with the forming some bullish patterns performs not naturally. So but the many patterns that have been formed recently has failed. And currently, where stands is very tricky moment. So first of all, I just give you the hint. So on the daily chart, we have this bearish grabber, and it suggests taking out of these lows. This is target. But at the same time, if you take a look at the weekly chart, which is we talked about this in the weekend, last weekend, we potentially could get the bullish grabber here by today's close. If market will close above 40.19, we will get this pattern. And this in turn suggests further upward continuation, and that should happen today. So if market will able to stay somewhere around, situation might change really fast. This is really very difficult situation to make a decision, and in the current circumstance, at least today, before the holidays and before the weekend, I think that probably today we should do nothing, just see what will happen. On the 4 time frame chart, you could see that despite that market has shown really deep retracement, these minor hand shoulders inside that we suggested to use previously for a possible starting of the upward direction has failed. But at the same time, overall performance here stands around the same level. Market hasn't broken it down. Market hasn't taken these lows compared to the euro currency, for example. So these keep chances for this pattern to work, especially if we will get the weekly grabber. We do not know whether it will work or not, but appearing of the weekly pattern and with its invalidation point right here, it will be very close led us to take very sweet trade with a very small potential risk. That's what we keep in mind right now. And today is just, let's see what will happen. So here on this action, this is actually the key for the next direction that we will get next week. On the hourly chart, you could see that this hand shoulders, yes, it's under the failure process. It doesn't work like it should. But here is market is forming kind of the garter steeple to buy. So some pullback here is coming. What will happen next? Very difficult to say. If we will see that this pattern is triggering the stronger upper direction, normally if we're standing in a failure process, this pullback should be small. So maybe market will pull back somewhere to 1480, 1475, just minor retracement, and starts dropping back. It means that all this stuff is still valid. But if market start forming deeper retracement up, it means that although we could get this kind of the tauted head and shoulders, but it still, well, could work. Sometimes it happens, especially if some external factors intrude in overall performance. So as you can see, a lot of bets right now stands on the table. Let's just keep watching. If we will get no grabbers and market will drop below 1490, it stands very close, by the way, with these lows. So if today we will see downside continuation, we will have no weekly grabbers. It tells us that we were right with this suggestion, with the deeper retracement here, downside breakout, and with the daily grabber correspondingly. So we will see drop below these lows and downside continuation. Taking larger scale of the performance, it might be even kind of the big butterfly to the downside, potentially. It will depend also from the Fed decision. So here in today's video, I just explained what particular things we need to watch and monitor to make the correct decision on the next step. Because this particular vital points explains in what direction market could follow on the next week.